in today's video, we're going to be talking about canter departs and why you should always try to train your horse to go walk to canter, canter to walk. When you're first training a horse and they're kind of green, if you're having some issues, it's okay to go to trot to canter, but you want to get away from that as quickly as possible. And the reason for that is because you really have to get control of the weight in the canter. Most people will ask their horse to canter by just trotting faster and faster until the horse eventually canters. I know that's how I learned to canter when I was little. I have taught a lot of riders, both those who have ridden before and those who haven't ridden before. I know for me, learning how to canter classically was extremely hard for me, and I found that people who've already learned how to canter in a military system have a lot harder time learning how to canter well. My students who I started from the beginning and didn't have a lot of riding experience tend to pick up on the canter easier. And the reason a lot of us who got trained the wrong way at the beginning aren't very good at cantering at the beginning is because I would always run my horse into the canter. So I would make my horse trot faster and faster, and then I would lean forward to try to see which lead I was on, which would totally mess up my horse's balance. And it's really hard to get a good walk to canter, canter to walk, which will lead to your flying changes if you're not balanced and your horse isn't balanced. So there's so many different ways to ask your horse to canter. I'm just going to give you pretty much an example of one, maybe two today. But any version of asking your horse to load the outside hind, so if I'm going to ask for the left lead, I'm going to want to load the right hind, which should lift the left shoulder and get the horse to go. So any version of lifting the shoulder on the lead that you want, or loading the outside hind and telling your horse to go, will tell the horse to canter, because position precedes action. So if you watched our trot video, we talked about how to get the trot. Any form of asking your horse to be straight, loading both back legs evenly, and then telling your horse to go is what's going to get them into the trot. So when I ask my horse to canter, eventually I do want them to have a very straight canter depart, but you still need to load one hind leg more than the other. And one of the things about this horse's name is Julepe. I'm going to butcher the second part of his name because my Spanish is not very good. Brian will be offended. But Julepe Rey, and he was bred in Spain and was a Grand Prix horse there. And it's kind of a long story. He was in a bad situation in Texas, and he got shipped to us, and one of my lovely students got him for $1. And he was supposedly permanently lame, but he's not anymore. We did ski jor in January. We've done a few dressage shows, and he's really a lovely horse, but he's very good at faking things. And that's part of the reason that he had lameness issues, is he didn't do the basic work very well. He kind of figured out how to skirt around it. So when I do my canter departs on him today, he does do really nice canter departs. He's not always very straight in them, and he does try to talk you into doing an extra little push with your seat, which you don't want to do because of the way he was trained before. Because if you do that extra little push with the seat, it's going to interfere with his balance. So I can do my canter depart with just a single rein, just like everything we do in training our horses classically. Everything can be done on a single rein with just our 4 basic aids. And we go into a lot of detail in our 4 basic aids in the Harmony and Hand course. So an easy way to ask him to canter is to do an indirect rein, which is going to put the weight onto the right hind, and then I tell him to go. So I do an indirect rein, reverse half halt, and now he didn't take it, so I backed it up with a little tap. Notice I didn't do an extra squeeze or push or anything like that. So I'm going to set it up again, indirect rein, load the outside hind, and canter. And then I want to focus on my downward, so notice I got canter to walk, which we will address in a separate video if you guys want us to, because there's only so much time. So again, I'm going to set it up. I'm going to do my indirect rein, get the weight off the left shoulder onto the right hind, and give, and he goes. Nice and easy. So one of the things that's going to help you with the stability when you're cantering is your leg position. So you shouldn't need your legs to ask the horse to canter, but it is going to help you to be more stable if you have your legs matching the thrusting diagonal. Doesn't matter if you're walking or trotting or cantering, your legs should always match the thrusting diagonal. So if I'm on a right lead, I'm going to show you right lead because this is the leg you're going to want to look at. I'm going to slide my outside leg slightly further back. So see how I just bend my knee slightly more? I'm not kicking or digging my heel into him. And what that does is it makes my legs slightly like this. So if you imagine that you're riding on a train, and if you're standing with your legs straight and the train goes suddenly, you're gonna get knocked back. And that's because you're not in as stable of a standing position. So when you have a good seat on the horse, you should very much have a standing position. If your legs are out here like this, if the horse disappears from underneath you, you're gonna fall on your butt, which means you're not very stable on the horse. So you always should have your legs underneath you so that if the horse disappeared from underneath you, you'd be standing, and you should always have one leg slightly further back and one leg slightly further forward. When I'm cantering, I like to focus on sliding my outside leg slightly further back. So I'm going to switch. I'm going to have a left lead. So I'm going to slide my right leg back, and then my left leg just naturally will come a little bit forward, because a lot of times if I tell people to step on their inside stirrup to get the canter, they do this. And then they'll take this big step and they'll push on their stirrup, which is, I know you don't like that, which is a very common mistake that I see people make. So another really simple, easy way that we can ask our horse to canter, and let me actually, I'm going to circle around and I'm going to ask him for the right lead, and you can watch my left leg slide back. So I'm going to ask him for the right lead. I'm going to slide my left leg back. And there I got a couple trot steps, not really a couple, more like just one. So it wasn't quite perfect. He's not as strong on his left lead as he is on his right lead, and I haven't done that many right leads today, so I'm going to go ahead and get myself set up so you can see it on the camera again, and we'll ask for the right lead again. So my left leg is already slightly further back, and now I'm just going to slide it a little bit further back, and my horse canters. But it's not through a squeezing or a kicking. And again, you always want to think of the hand as the primary aid. So I shouldn't need my legs in the canter, but having them be like that is going to give me more stability. So really focus on working on your walk to canters, which tends to be easier, and then start working on your canter to walks. That'll start to give you control in the canter, so that even if you have a horse that isn't naturally good at flying changes, I know you can teach them to do flying changes.